Lifestyle creep is this annoying but fascinating phenomenon that actually happens to a lot of people. And by a lot of people, I mean me included. This is something that I used to deal with in the past. I've stopped it, and now I want to help you guys do the same. I'm saying that to let you know, don't feel too bad if you have also fallen victim to lifestyle creep. In a nutshell, lifestyle creep is when your lifestyle expenses, like your discretionary income, increase at the same rate that your income increases. Sometimes it might be when your lifestyle costs increase faster than your income, and that can obviously lead to debt and definitely halt your progress towards building wealth. So lifestyle creep, sometimes referred to as lifestyle inflation, is definitely something you want to avoid. At least that's because the creep part of lifestyle creep implies that you're doing it subconsciously, that you're not actively doing it, that it's something that's just happening to you. So that leads me to the big takeaway of this video, which is that the most effective way to avoid lifestyle creep is this very, very simple thing. Being proactive about your finances, being intentional. This means having a legit plan for your money, not just trying to figure it out as you go. It's very, very easy to be reactive when it comes to your finances, right? An unexpected expense comes about. All right, I gotta figure it out. Let me take on some debt, or let me pull it from here. Let me take out of my emergency fund. Or, ooh, I got a raise, I got a bonus. Ooh, I could spend more. I can afford more. Let me go ahead and buy these things that I've been wanting to buy for a long time. So being reactive in situations of spending, or even in situations when you have more money, like a raise or a bonus or an unexpected windfall of money. Being reactive can sometimes lead to decisions that are not aligned with your bigger financial goals. So if building wealth is a goal of yours, then this video is for you. In this video, I'm gonna dig a little bit deeper into lifestyle creep, and I also wanna run through 6 ways that you can be proactive, that you can be intentional about your finances. And at the end of the video, if you can stick through the end, I'm gonna give you a challenge that I think you should do if and when you get your next increase in income. You're gonna eventually increase your income, so this is something you're gonna want to do. For those new here, hello and welcome. My name is Lissa. I'm a personal finance expert and accredited financial counselor, and I'm the co-host of Net Podcast, a podcast where we talk about hidden costs and help you navigate every financial decision in life. Go check it out and let me know what you guys think. So, why does lifestyle creep even happen? You get a raise and suddenly that car you've been driving for years seems outdated. You're just due for a new one all of a sudden, even though the old one is running just fine. Or maybe you all of a sudden realize that your wardrobe needs an upgrade. You weren't thinking about that before, but now new money is in your hands and all of a sudden it becomes top priority. And here's the big one for a lot of people: dining out and going out all of a sudden become more frequent occurrences. So look, I get it. I told you at the beginning that I've fallen victim to lifestyle creep, and I'm gonna tell you right now that it happens for a reason. For lots of reasons, but we're gonna get into it. What I think about it is, I think lifestyle creep happens because there is this natural urge to want to progress in life. So for people who start with very little or nothing, to move up in society is the ability to have more, to get more, to live a nicer lifestyle. That on its own, I don't think there's anything wrong with that view of the world and progress. But unfortunately, we live in a capitalistic society, and we are taught at a very young age, we are taught behaviors that are grounded in consumerism and wanting more. And even worse, some people are taught behaviors of wanting more for the sake of comparing themselves to others. So these are things that tend to happen automatically. We are fed messages all around to buy more things, to get more things, that if we have this thing, it's gonna make us feel this way and it's gonna give us this status. It's kind of how a lot of social things in life work. And unfortunately, a lot of those things, the acquiring of more, requires money. So it makes complete sense to me that lifestyle creep tends to happen to people, because when we end up getting more financial resources, We've already been brainwashed. We've already been taught that the natural thing to do is to use those resources to acquire other things, to want more things. Now, again, I'm not saying that wanting things is bad. That is life. I like things. Like, I'll tell you that right now. Ultimately, we get to craft our lives in a way that brings us joy. The problem is we have to do that with what resources we have, right? Time, energy, money. However you utilize those resources is what ends up being your life and your lifestyle. So I can go on a tangent about this for days, but the reason I wanted to point this out is because lifestyle creep sucks. It's not great for your finances, but I don't want you to think it's just a behavior that happens because you are bad with money or you are just someone who overspends and wants a luxurious life. Like, cool, that might be a part of it, and for some people that's the reason behind it, but more often than not, it's more complicated than that. Honestly, if there's anyone or anything to blame for lifestyle creep, it's not you, it's not your friends, it's not your family, it's not your parents. It is the system that we live in. So all of that said, not to be negative Nancy here, but that is kind of why a lot of us fall victim to lifestyle creep without even noticing it. All we know is that it's getting harder and harder to pay bills. We know that we want to build wealth. We want to have a secure future. Maybe we don't want to work for the next 40 years of our life. We just don't know how. And it's going to be hard to do that if the more your income increases, so do your expenses, right? You want to find that way to live the lifestyle you want today while also thinking about your future. So let's talk about how you can avoid lifestyle creep. How can you be intentional and proactive about your finances so you don't get caught up with lifestyle creep the more money you start making? The key to avoiding lifestyle creep, like I mentioned earlier, is to be proactive. It is to live intentionally, to have a clear focus of your financial goals and your financial life. So that first example I have on the list of how to be intentional is to set clear financial goals. You should think about and define what you want to achieve financially. So what do you want to achieve in life that requires money, that is somehow tied to money? That could be buying a home, buying investments, buying real estate, paying off debt, saving for retirement, traveling the world. It is whatever you want it to be, but you want to have clear goals and also some estimated timeline for those goals. Knowing those goals is going to keep you focused when it comes to day-to-day financial decisions. All right, number 2, another way to be proactive about your finances is to create a budget and to stick to it. If you don't like budgets, if you don't want to call it that, then call it your spending plan or your financial plan. What you need is a plan of how you're going to allocate your resources. It's as simple as that. So how are you going to use your regular income towards all of your essential expenses, towards all of your savings, your investments, and for some of your discretionary spending? If you can create this plan and stick as close to it as possible, you'll be able to control what kind of spending happens, and that includes when you get an increase in income. Number 3, another way to be intentional and proactive with your finances is to automate your savings. So in a way, you're being proactive, but you actually don't have to do much after you set this up. So I call this paying yourself first. And what this is a method of making sure that no matter what, you are always putting money towards saving and investing anytime you get paid. So if you get paid on a regular basis, like from a job that pays you consistently, it's the easiest way to do it, that every time you get paid, you have a set amount going straight to savings or straight to investing. You can think of it like an additional deduction of your paycheck. Yes, your net pay, the remainder money, is going to be lower and you're going to have to live off of that, but this builds the habit of you prioritizing your future as well as paying for all of your day-to-day expenses. People are more successful when they prioritize saving in this way, as opposed to getting paid and then paying everyone else, paying all their bills, buying their necessities, buying their discretionary stuff, and then realizing, oh, I don't have anything left to save. Or maybe if they do have something to save, it's just not consistent. It doesn't happen every 2 weeks or every month or whatever. So the additional trick here to avoid lifestyle creep is when your income increases, you should also increase this amount that you are paying yourself automatically, right? You're not gonna notice that you've increased that amount because overall your check will increase, your income's gonna increase, but you wanna dedicate some of that towards saving and investing, and that's just going to accelerate your process towards building wealth. All right, number 4. I think we're on number 4. Number 4 is to improve your spending habits. So lifestyle creep often happens to people because of impulse purchases or needing immediate gratification, or like I said earlier, why you need to track your budget, because people just don't track. So tracking is a means of accountability. So one thing you can do to improve your spending behaviors is when you want something and there's not really a rational reason for needing it right here, right now, immediately, you can practice the art of delayed gratification. You can give yourself a cooling off period, and that can be 2 days or a week or 2 weeks. You want to test yourself so that you can decide during this time if that's something that you really, really want, or if it was just kind of an impulsive thought of getting that thing. It gives you time to decide, what is that thing going to do for my life? What value is it going to bring to me? Now, don't worry, this is not something you're going to have to consciously do and actively do for the rest of your life unless you want to. It is a habit that you want to build now while you are at the beginning stages of trying to build wealth, and especially if you tend to have not so great spending behaviors. All right, number 5. Celebrate your milestones. So this is something that's important to do proactively when it comes to avoiding lifestyle creep, because what tends to happen is when people are super, super frugal or they're cheap and they do it to the point where they don't get to enjoy any of their money, what happens when they do make more money is that becomes the time to splurge or to enjoy that money for themselves. Now, I'm not saying you have to pick one or the other. You can do both, but you want to do a balance. You don't want to just have all this not pent up aggression, but you don't want to have all this like pent up need and want to spend, and then once you finally get more money, you spend like crazy. You want to make sure that you reward yourself on a regular basis. You use your money to celebrate yourself on a more regular basis. And sure, if you get paid more, you can do that again when that happens, but you just don't want it to be this excessive amount that basically puts you in a worse financial situation than before you got that raise or bonus or windfall or whatever it is. All right, the 6th way and the last one on this list of how you can be proactive about your finances and avoid lifestyle creep is to get yourself some accountability buddies. You want to surround yourself with like-minded people, like-minded friends who are kind of in the same boat. If you spend time with people, you are going to end up influencing each other's habits. So if you're really trying to be good about your finances, build your foundations, save for an emergency fund, pay off debt, if you're in that boat and you're with people who are taking lavish vacations all the time and maybe they have more income than you do at this time, you're going to feel left out and you're going to feel like you have to spend to keep up with everyone. If you surround yourself with people who are like-minded and who might have similar goals, and especially for people who just respect your goals and want to support you, then you're going to have a easier time saying no when you need to say no, and then having more guidance and more support in picking and choosing the right times to say yes when it comes to spending. All right, so we talked about what lifestyle creep is, why I think it tends to happen a lot in society, and it's a systemic issue. And we also talked about 6 different ways you can be more proactive about your finances, not only to avoid lifestyle creep, but to improve your finances in general. So before we end this video, I did not forget, I promised at the beginning that I would share with you a special tip or a challenge that I want you to try the next time you get a raise or an increase in income. So The challenge is very simple. When you get an increase in income, do not change your lifestyle for 6 months. This means if you get a raise and your income increases, keep your lifestyle and your expenses the exact same for just 6 months. Now, you're not going to be able to fight inflation on this, right? Things might just actually cost a little bit more than they used to, but for the most part, if you get a raise and you keep all of your expenses the same, you should end up with some extra cash flow at the end of the month or during the month for these first 6 months, which is the challenge I'm issuing you. Now, what do you do with this extra money those first 6 months before you change anything about your lifestyle? Well, you want to do wealth building activities. I talk about them all the time on my channel, but these are things like accelerating your debt payoff, putting aside your emergency fund that you've been meaning to do forever, but you still haven't. Investing, putting aside other savings that you need in the next couple of years. All of these things that are going to help increase your net worth and also just set your foundations for the future. All right, so I hope this video helped out, and I hope that all of you can prevent lifestyle creep from happening unintentionally, because you're going to set yourself up and be proactive about your finances. All right, until next time, peace out.